Okay, greetings to everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. So we'll start our meeting with Mudita from Bangkok. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. And good evening, ค่ะท่านพระอาจารย์ Okay, I would like to ask, there was this former Japanese monk in Thailand, and he was very famous, and he ordained for like maybe 30 years, and then he disrobed to get married. So I would like to ask, what would be the reason for a monk who ordained for such a long time to disrobe? Is it because of not enough mindfulness or something like that?
Well, you have to ask him really. It's not my business. But to say that generally, to answer in a general way,
right.
It's probably the Dhamma isn't as strong as the Kilesa.
I see.
So it's a battle between the Kilesa and the Dhamma in
right.
your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So if your Dhamma is weaker than your defilement, then your defilement will take over your heart, your mind, and lead your mind to whatever your defilement wants it to do. So I think this is basically with everybody. It doesn't matter who you yourself.
Right.
You are constantly struggling between your Dhamma and your defilement.
Yes, a lot.
Sometimes you want to give the 8 precepts, and sometimes your defilement say 5 is enough. Sometimes you want to meditate, and your defilement say, "Oh, just watch TV for a change." So these are what's going on in your mind, in everybody's mind. Dhamma said, Dhamma and the defilements are competitive.
Right.
They're always competing for the taking control of the mind. So whoever is stronger will then take control of the mind at that particular time.
Right.
Okay, is good enough for you?
Yes, ท่านพระอาจารย์ค่ะ I would like to know. So, for example, if I'm experiencing very strong desire or defilement, so I should be chanting something, some mantra, right? I mean, to yes, stop.
It means your Dhamma is weaker in your defilement. So you have to bring your Dhamma up. And one way, easiest way is to do chanting or reciting the mantra. If you can. Look at the 32 parts of the body, for instance.
Right.
Then if you can bring your mind, bring the Dhamma up, then your Dhamma will, if it's stronger, then it will be able to stop your defilement for that particular time.
Okay. I see. Okay, I think that's all from me for today.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Next is Kok Seng from Singapore. Hi, Kok Seng.
Hi, Ajahn. Yeah.
Have a question?
Yes, Ajahn. A question tonight. And the question is: I have a friend, a Buddhist friend, who is not convinced that formal sitting meditation is important to achieve enlightenment, so as to alleviate suffering. So, and then when I was reflecting upon myself, thinking, why is it that meditation is important for us to achieve enlightenment and so as to alleviate suffering? So I was not able. I find that I myself I'm not very 100% sure. So maybe I want to seek Ajahn advice so that I can try to convince this friend of mine to do meditation.
Well, it's simply because you lack the Dhamma knowledge, especially in this particular case, in the Noble Eightfold Path. He should study the Noble Eightfold Path carefully. when they come to Samma Samadhi, he should deal deeper into what Samma Samadhi is. And he'll find that Samma Samadhi is fourth jhana. Buddha teach us to have Samma Samadhi by going into the fourth jhana. So, this is something that he has to prove for himself. If he doesn't think that formal meditation is necessary, it's up to him. You cannot force someone to believe something if they don't believe. You just have to. You can tell them, but that's about all you can do. Say, study the Noble Eightfold Path carefully and look at each different path factor, what they contain, what they are, and do you have them in yourself yet? If you don't, then you're not going to become enlightened.
I actually believe that chanting alone is sufficient. So
Well, they have to prove it. See, it's not believing. Something like, if you haven't done something, how can you disbelieve something when you don't even have tried it yet? So I think they close their eyes, their mind to something new. So once they are like that, what can you do?
right to say that when the Buddha laid down the eight path, which one of them is samadhi, right meditation. So it means that as Buddhists, we need to have formal sitting meditation in order to walk the eightfold path.
Well, look at how the Buddha became enlightened. He sat under the Bodhi tree, right? He didn't walk around. He didn't go to shopping malls and get enlightened there. Go find a quiet place to sit and meditate, to get samatha first, the fourth jhana. Once he had the fourth jhana, then he developed wisdom. So this is one of the reasons why you take the Buddha as your refuge. The refuge means example or your role model. You want to follow the example of your teacher. What your teacher did, that's what you want to do. That's what he taught us to do. But you're dealing with kindergarten, so it's student. So it's not easy to explain to them the theory of physics or mathematics. The importance of studying mathematics, to become a scientist or become an engineer, for instance, because they don't know anything about this thing. They don't know what enlightenment is even. Ask them, you want to become enlightened, what do you want from enlightenment? What do you expect from enlightenment? So you're talking to kindergarten students about the bachelor or master degree courses. It's useless. Okay. Don't try to convince other people. Try to convince yourself first. Sell it to yourself first, whether you can buy it or not. Before you sell a car to other people, ask yourself, would you buy this car for yourself? You're a car dealer. You have to be convinced the car that you sell is good enough for people to buy, right? Or else you don't want to sell the car because you'll be lying to them. It's the same way with the Buddha. Before he taught the Noble Eightfold Path, he used it for himself first. He applied it to himself. And once he had accomplish what he wanted, and from the Noble Eightfold Path, then he teach to other people. Okay?
Yeah, Ajahn.
I think our tendency is try to spread the Dhamma when we ourselves don't have the Dhamma. You know. So when they encounter with a different opinion, you don't know how to deal with it. You know. So try not to spread the Dhamma now. Try to build up the Dhamma first. You know. Have the Dhamma inside yourself first before attempting to teach other people. I think most people who study Buddhism, once they have studied, they have this ambition to become a teacher, even before knowing what being a real teacher is like. You know. They thought they know already. Once they study the scripture, they think they can then impart this knowledge to other people. But they are roadmaps, they are not the real thing, see. They haven't got to the destination where the roadmap points them toward yet. So they first have to travel the path to get to the destination and to discover all the obstacles on the way and all the traps that you might fall into. So I think to be good for yourself, do something for yourself first. Don't worry about other people unless they insist, they ask you, then you can tell them what you know. But you have to put in parentheses, this is just theoretical knowledge. If you haven't yet experienced the true knowledge. Okay? Don't waste your time with other people. Waste your time with yourself first. Get yourself enlightened before you try to help other people to become enlightened. If not, it will be like a blind man leading another blind man. You won't go anywhere. Okay? Let me go to Gary from Singapore also. Hi, Gary. Your turn.
Hi, Ajahn, good evening.
So,
Ajahn,
any question?
Yes, there's one question to which is related to what I've asked last week regarding aramanas. So, as and when these aramanas arise, I usually would take note of them and try to be aware of them. But sometimes I would go back to chanting the mantra, Puto, Puto, Puto. So could Ajahn advise, am I doing it correctly, handling the aramanas?
How to deal with the aramanas when they arise?
Yes, Ajahn.
Well, if you're in the stage of calming your mind, controlling your mind, controlling your aramanas, then you want to use mindfulness to stop them, like doing chanting or reciting a mantra. But if you're on the level of wisdom, vipassana, you can teach yourself that this aramana is impermanent. They rise and cease of themselves. They are anatta. They are mental phenomena. And if they don't cause you any problem, it's better just to leave them alone, just to be merely knowing. But if they are causing you problem, then you have to stop them. And if you cannot stop them, then you just have to let them be and just be merely knowing. So that you won't get any stress from trying to get rid of them. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Tanajan.
Okay. Next is Kafai Lim from Malaysia.
Good day to you, Tanajan. Today I have a question. It's in regards to the meditation of observing the breathing. Recently, I've been using breathing meditation and also found it very easily to get into the calmness. However, once I get into calmness, sometimes the breathing will be too faint, and I forget entirely about the breathing once I'm reaching the calmness. So I just ongoing for like a very long time, and then suddenly I get out from the calmness itself because I try to remember the breathing. So I would like to seek your advice. So in this situation, what should I do? Should I just try not to think of the breathing itself, just remain in the calmness,
Well, if there's no breathing to watch, then you just watch the mind itself. Watch
Okay.
the mind to keep it calm and
Okay.
don't let it get into any action, doing anything.
Yeah.
Just keep it still for as long as possible. The breath is
Yeah,
just a mean to calm the mind. Once you have the mind calm, then use mindfulness to keep watching the calm itself.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Because the moment I try to think about where is the breathing, it suddenly just get me back to square one.
Right. You don't need to go back to the breath. Once you
Okay.
get to the mind, once the mind becomes calm, then you just keep watching the mind. Make sure it continues to be calm for as long as possible.
Okay. Noted on that. Narajan, I know what to do next. Thank you.
Okay.
Sadhu.
Next is Kenneth. Hi, Ken from Switzerland. Professor.
Hello, Tanajan.
Mm.
Ajahn, I'd like to ask a question regarding practice, because due to the way I work, I obviously have trained myself for many years in thinking, analytical thinking about problems. And I find this a bit of a difficulty for the samatha bhavana. So my question is, can I actually use the habit I have of thinking analytically to benefit the practice? How can I use thinking in a good way?
Thinking will be beneficial on the next stage, on vipassana. You need to be analytical when you think in vipassana. You want to see the different aspects of anicca, for instance. So you use analytical thought to analyze anicca, change, not constant, constantly changing, not permanent, temporary, so forth. But at the stage of samatha, you just have to stop your mind from thinking.
Okay.
So you have to rely on some meditation object, such as a mantra. If you're walking, if you're doing anything, you can use your body. Just keep watching your body. Every action, whatever you're doing, eating, uh, walking, eating, working, whatever you do, just keep the mind with the body. But to have the mind, to have the right kind of mindfulness, you need to not doing the work that requires you to use your thoughts. Because the purpose of using the body is to stop your mind from thinking, just to keep it watching the body. Like if you're a monk or if you're in a retreat, then you don't have to think. You just have to keep watching the body action. Whatever you do don't require much thinking, like eating, washing your clothes, washing the dishes. This don't require much thinking. It requires more concentration or focus. So I think this is one of the problem with lay people, because they have to work, and most of their work requires them to think analytically.
Mm.
So it's hard for them to stop thinking. And this also has a momentum of its own. So for you to stop thinking by focusing on something you find it very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So there's another method. You might use the 32 parts of the body as your object of meditation by going through the 32.
Okay, just
The Ajahn has disappeared.
okay. He's in now. I think it's the problem of the signal. Just wait.
Okay, it's
Okay.
better now?
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay. This is the problem with technology. You can analyze this as a nidja and don't get up. When you expect it to be nidja, then you can get upset, you can get dukkha. When you expect that this thing can be a nidja, then when it happens, you don't get upset, you don't get dukkha. You accept it, that this is how things work in this world. Nothing always reliable, nothing always the same. So, okay, I was talking about using the 32 parts of the body. If you analyze the code type, you can just go through the 32 parts of the body or the 10 stages of the corpse. You can analyze this and will calm the mind. But eventually, when you have enough mindfulness to focus on your breath, then you want to sit down and focus on your breath.
Yeah.
But before that, if you cannot focus on your breath because your mind keep wandering away, then you can force it to study the 32 parts of the 10 corpses to bring it back to the present, to the here and now, and not thinking about other things. Once you are calm enough, focused enough, then you can continue on with watching your breath. Because you need to keep the mind, in order for the mind to be still, you have to stop thinking by just merely watching the breath. At the tip of your nose, you don't have to follow the breath in or out, just know that it comes in, it goes out, short or long, subtle or coarse, just know it for what it is. Don't force the breath. Use the breath as an anchor of your mind. Once you have strong samadhi, have a strong equanimity, then you can go and use analytical thought to study the three objects: the body, the feelings, and the emotions of the mind. They are changing. They're always constantly in flux. They're never the same. The body is constantly changing, but the change might be slow. But if you take if you look back at 10 years ago, you will find that your body now and then is almost two different persons. It's changed, and it's anatta. You cannot tell it to be like 10 years ago. That's what anatta means. It's not under your control. Your body is not under your control. So you want to teach your mind to accept this nature of the body. And you also want to separate your mind from the body. That the mind is just the one who thinks and the one who knows. It is not the body. Whatever happens to the body doesn't happen to the mind. So the mind just have to accept the truth of the body and not try to resist the truth. Then it will not have any dukkha. But if it tries to resist, then it will get dukkha because it has craving or desire for the body to be in a certain way, according to your own desire. So you have to stop your desire toward the body, like the desire not to get old, get sick, or die, because this is the one that creates a lot of dukkha in the mind. This is wisdom. This is the teaching your mind to doing the homework. So when the time comes for you to take the test, then you will be able to do it calmly and peacefully, not disturbed by the happening of the body, whatever it's gonna be. It has to be, and no one can stop it. Then you will find that you will have no anxiety, worry about the body. Once you have truly let go of the body, accept the truth of the body, that is anicca, is anatta, then there will be no dukkha. Dukkha arises because you don't accept anicca, you don't accept anatta. You still think you can take care of your body, you can keep the body the way you want it. Okay. Any more questions? Or enough for today? Okay, I cannot hear you, but that's okay. I can read your lips, your expression anyway. All right, well, let me go to Forest Tom from Massachusetts, Boston.
Hi, Ajahn. I'm very grateful that you're teaching us today. I realized that when I'm happy, then my mind starts thinking that I'll permanently be happy. And when I'm sad, then my mind starts thinking I'll permanently be sad. So I'm trying to teach it that these emotions are coming and going. And I just wanted to ask if you have any advice on how to stop being so blown around by happiness and sadness.
Well, the happiness and sadness that we experience is not permanent. They come and go. They are anicca and anatta like the body. So try not to cling to them. Don't be attached to them, because if you attach to the happiness, when it disappears, it will make you sad.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have aversion for sadness, when it happens, you also feel bad. You also have dukkha. So you have to expect that happiness and sadness keep changing due to the changing conditions that creates them. See? Happiness and sadness are created by the conditions around you, your body and the things around you. So when things change, then the feeling changes with the changing of the things around you. Things that cause your feeling change, and your feeling changes. And you cannot always control them. But you can control your mind not to get dukkha by merely accepting everything, by understanding the changing nature of things. Happiness is temporary, sadness is temporary. As long as you still exist in this world, you will have to experience these things. But you can experience like a drop of water on the leaf, on the lotus leaf. You see, they don't absorb, the leaf don't absorb the droplet of water. They stay, although they are in contact, but they are not becoming one. Our mind tend to be try to mend everything into itself. Whatever comes in, it takes in all, and then it becomes either happy and sad with things that come and go. So you want to detach your mind like the lotus leaf. Just merely know and don't react. When happiness comes, don't get excited, don't get happy with happiness. When sadness comes, don't get sad with sadness. Just know that they come and go.
So that makes sense. You had also mentioned that there are conditions.
Can you speak louder? Your voice kind of soft. I can't hear you. Something wrong with my. Can other people hear it for us?
No.
Okay. Your sound seems to disappear. Say again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but it's kind of soft.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Tell me if it gets soft again.
Okay.
I just had one more question. Should I try to understand the conditions that cause the happiness and sadness, or should I not try to understand those conditions? Because sometimes I don't know what's the cause.
Well, anything can cause it. A sound can cause you to have good feeling or bad feeling. The five sensual objects usually they are the ones that cause you to have sadness or happiness. When you experience the sensual objects of your liking, then you have happiness. When you experience the sensual objects not of your liking, you have sadness, you have bad feelings. So they are, and the reason for your happiness and sadness is because of your liking of this object or dislike of these objects. So if you want to rise above this sadness and happiness, then you have to train your mind not to like or dislike. And the only way to make your mind not to like or dislike is to have equanimity from your meditation. That's what you need, the fourth jhana, to get equanimity. When the mind has equanimity, the mind has no like or dislike, fear or delusion toward the sensual objects. The mind will just merely know sound for just sound, whether it's good sound or bad sound, it doesn't react. Or pictures, whether good picture or bad picture, it doesn't react. It just merely know them. That's why you need the fourth jhana, Samma Samadhi, in order to have equanimity, in order for you to train your mind to stop reacting when you are not in samadhi. When you come out and when you come into contact with five sensual objects, you have to tell your mind that these five sensual objects are changing all the time, from good to bad, from bad to good, back and forth, so forth. They're like the weather. If you can treat them like the weather, you can live with the weather, right? You're not so much affected by the weather. I mean, even though they affect your body, but your mind can learn to live with them, right? Whether it's snow or rain, storm or whatever. Because you know there's nothing you can do with them. Only thing you can do with them is just accept them for what they are. And that's the goal of our practice, to teach the mind to accept everything as they come, as they are. Don't try to have any discrimination, like or dislike. Then your mind will not be affected. Your mind will be without any good or bad feeling, really. But without this good or bad feeling, the mind has something better. It has peace, which is a better, and with peace, it has another type of happiness. The happiness that arising from peace of mind, which will always be with the mind. If you know how to make the mind remain peaceful, then you always have this piece of happiness that comes with the peace of mind. You can say that contentment, this is what you will get, which is better than the happiness you get from experiencing the sensual objects of your liking, because they only last for so long, and then they will change or they will disappear. And when they disappear, then sadness will replace happiness. So you need to develop equanimity in order for the mind to not rely on the sensual objects for their source of happiness. Right now, you still depend or rely on the sensual objects for your happiness, right? But if you have equanimity, you have peace of mind, then you don't need the 5 sensual objects for your happiness. And then you can then also teach the mind that they are anicca, anatta. This will then make your detachment to them permanent with wisdom, to see why you don't want to rely on them to make you happy, because they're not reliable. They are not your constant source of happiness, like peace of mind. Peace of mind will always be with you once you have wisdom to stop your desire, your mind from desiring for things. All right?
Thank you, Tanaja.
Okay. Let me say hello to Philip and Adeline. Hi. Any question today?
Ajahn, yes, I do have a question regarding meditation.
Speak a bit louder.
Yes, I do have a question regarding meditation.
Okay.
In regards to the contemplation of the 32 parts of the body. Am I to understand that this contemplation of the 32 parts of the body is one of the preliminary meditation before you do the breath meditation, because you can't calm your mind?
It is a tool for some people who cannot yet focus on the breath, and they may not like chanting or reciting a mantra. Then this is another tool that you can use. If you are analytical, like professor is an engineer, if you're a scientist, your mind might be more in tune with studying the body parts rather than reciting a mantra or chanting. It depends on your character, and this is what you can choose when you don't have strong enough mindfulness. So you can use this to generate more mindfulness, stronger mindfulness, to the point where you can stop your mind from thinking about other things, and then can focus on your breath. Then you stop using this method. But the study of the body is also twofold. It has 2 purposes. First, to calm the mind, to generate mindfulness, so that you can meditate. But it also becomes a tool for vipassana. So later on, you want to study the nature of your body, to see that it is not beautiful when you see the 32 parts, your body and other people's body, especially the body that you are attracted to. When you see the 32 parts of that person, then your attraction toward that person will diminish or will be eliminated. This vipassana level. But you can use it also on the samatha level to help calm your mind.
The contemplation of the 32 parts of the body, if you are not proficient with the everything, right? Is it okay just to start out with the 5 first until you are proficient, and then move next to the 5, and subsequently, or you just download 32 straight away?
What's so hard about them?
I mean, it's just that the first five is actually quite superficial, and they are probably the cause of a lot of suffering. I mean, your hair, your body hair, your nails, and I mean, your teeth, right? They are all actually beautification. I mean, if you look at it, they cause a lot of suffering. They have caused a lot of suffering for people, and I was just wondering whether from a contemplation perspective, or when you're repeating them, do you just go 5 and then next 5? I understand, and next 5 and next 5, or just 32 all the way straight?
Well, first you can recite the names of the parts first. Hair of the head, hair of the body, so forth. Once you can remember all the 32 names, then you go one by one, visualizing them. How does the hair of the head look like? How does the hair of the body look like? The skin, the location of the skin, and so forth. You can do this. See, I think the reason why you find it difficult is because your defilement have strong dislike for the 32 parts of the body, the 10 corpses. There's a strong aversion for this thing. So you find it difficult to contemplate. So before you can contemplate this thing effectively and continuously, you need to have some equanimity first. You have to have some samadhi first. Because when your mind is neutral, then there will be no aversion for these objects. And you can study them like a doctor, a medical student. You study the anatomy of the body, really, that's what it means for you. For you to then look at the body in a complete way, not just superficial way, like the way we look at the body. The way we look at the body are superficial. We only look at the wrappings of the body. We look at the bag. We don't see the content inside the bag. The body is like a bag made of skin, right? But you don't see the content inside the skin, right? You don't see the meat. You don't see the flesh. You don't see the skeleton. You don't see the organs. They are the content of your leather, of your leather bag. The skin is the leather. The body is a leather bag, see, and you don't see the content of it. So you become delusional when you see the content of when you see the bag, you say, "Oh, this is a beautiful bag," right? But you never open up the content of the bag to see what's inside the bag. Right? If you see a beautiful bag, and when you open up the bag and there's just trash in them or some, you don't want that bag anymore, right? So, I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's difficult, the 32 parts of the body. Yeah? Medical students, they study them, see? But they have to force themselves to study them because they have to take exam. You know? They have to pass the exam. But once they finish, they stop thinking about them. They only think of them when they really have to.
And when you're contemplating it, or when you're going it through your head, you have to follow the order.
Well, why not? Why do you have to? It's pretty much obvious. It goes from outside to inside. Hair first, hairs on top of your head, right? Then have the head, then have the rest of your body. Then nail, skin, teeth, skin come last of the 5. And next to the skin is what? Flesh, right? Next to the flesh is bones, sinew, tendons, things that connect them. So they're in quite good order already. I don't see any reason why you have to choose a different order. But if you like, no one can stop you. The point is for you to see that, see the complete parts of the body, so that you can then dispel your delusion, the beauty concept of the body. Or you can, if you can visualize, if you can just suddenly visualize a picture of the anatomy that you see in the medical school books, just if you can visualize that, you don't have to even name them. You don't need to. Just look inside. Look inside the body, because what you see outside is only half of the story, not the whole story. You want to see a complete picture of the body.
Okay.
So that you will not be delusional anymore. So you see both sides of the story, both sides of the body. See the beautiful side of the body, and you also see the unbeautiful side of the body.
Okay.
But it's not easy because the mind doesn't like to think about it. The way you think about it now because we're in a class, like we're studying this thing. But once you get out of this class, you probably won't think about it. Because right now you're not ready to do that anyway, because you still rely on the body to make you happy. You rely on the body of your wife to make you happy. So you don't want to think of the repulsive parts of her body. Because if you do, you might not want to live with her anymore. And vice versa. She also doesn't want to think of your repulsive parts of your body. You want both still want to be delusional. You still want to live together. You don't want wisdom. Because if you have wisdom, then you probably go live alone. You become a monk. But anyways, it's nice talking about it. I think you might just going a little bit too far from what you are doing. Right now, I think your main goal is to develop mindfulness and jhana first before you go to vipassana.
Okay.
But you have to be ready because you have to see the dukkha that you get from living with your partner, with your family. If you don't see dukkha, then you might not want to solve this problem. But if you see that the dukkha arises from you having this desire for a partner, because when you're alone, you feel lonely. The loneliness is generated by your desire for a partner. And loneliness desire arises from your mind not being calm. See, if you have a calm mind, then the loneliness will not appear if you're alone. And then you will see the harm that can bring you when you have to live with someone, when you have to rely on someone to keep you happy. So you need to first build up a new type of happiness, the happiness from meditation, and then you will can see the difference between the two type of happiness. The happiness you get from meditation and the happiness you get from your partner. You can see that one is constantly there for you. The other, you're not sure when it's gonna happen. It's gonna disappear from you. But deep down inside, you know one day, sooner or later, it's gonna happen. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Next, Melinda from Singapore.
Hello, Ajahn.
Any problem? Any question?
Yesterday was my father's 1 year's anniversary, his passing. I was all right until today. I felt that it was a lot of emotion that has been suppressed. There were tears still. I think it's normal. I think
it's because you're not practicing mindfulness. You let your mind go into the past. The purpose is to keep your mind. The goal is to keep your mind in the present. The past is gone, and the future is never here. It's always the present that things happen. So you should stop thinking about the past.
There are like issues that happen in the daily life. And there was a past memory, because my father commented that, because he told me that if you are very down to earth, if one is down to earth, and people usually take advantage. And that happened a lot when I was in my workplace. So it's like a similar situation happened, and it feels like the sankhara, the memories of the past, what he commented, it just came up very quickly. The mindfulness isn't strong. Everyday commute, there are many people around. There's a lot of contact with people, whether spoken, not spoken. So I just want to ask Ajahn, like, what Ajahn think about this comment when my father told me that because you're very down to earth and people take advantage, and that happens a lot in the worldly world. And how do we manage on that, or how do we practice such that we do not buy into the story of the mind?
Well, the problem is you still want to have things, so you have to deal with people, and there are good people and there are bad people. There are people who will take advantage of you, and there are people who will help you. So the best thing is try not to deal with people. Try to learn to be content with what you have. Basically, all you need is just the 4 requisites of life. Have food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. And if you want any happiness, get it from your meditation. Then you won't have to deal with anybody. Like me, I don't deal with anybody. I only deal when I go to collect food in the morning. And there's not much dealing. I just open up my bowl and they give me the food. And that's it. And once I'm back, I'm staying in my room most of the time. I don't deal with anybody. If I want to have happiness, I just meditate. Then you won't have to deal with many people. But if you want money, you want status, you want all the luxury things in this world, you want to go on holidays, have meals in luxury hotel or luxury restaurant, then you have to make money. When you make money, you have to deal with people. And all people everybody's looking for the same thing, money, money, money. So, and different people have different attitude toward making money. Some people, they don't care what they do to get money. They don't care what they do might hurt other people. So this is the way it is. If you're in the rat race, then you just have to meet the rats, If you don't want to meet the rats, then don't go into the rat race. Meditate, learn how to meditate, stay at home. Do not congregate. Do not mingle with other people. If you have to, do it on a minimum, only when you have to, like for your work or whatever. But other than that, don't socialize. Better just to live alone. Isolate yourself from other people. You need to meditate, that's the problem. See? Once you have no meditation, no mindfulness, then your defilement take over your mind. The defilement wants status, want money, one sensual object. All the cravings and the great desire comes up. But if you can meditate, then you can keep these things under control. That's the purpose of studying this class, to encourage you to meditate and not to do any other thing. You just come in to listen, and then when you finish, you go back to doing what you used to normally do, then it doesn't benefit you anything. You have to meditate, you have to train yourself in mindfulness. Then you will see the difference in your life. If you can curb or control your desire and your cravings, then you won't have to do much dealing with other people or things.
Like there's a lot of lack of self-confidence, a lot of self-doubt, even a lot of self-doubt of whether I'm doing the right thing, or whether I can I keep up to it, and even keep up to meditation. There's a lot of self-doubt of the ability to doing things, even including meditation.
Don't doubt, just do. Don't doubt, just do. Don't think, just do. I will get you there. Just train yourself in mindfulness. That's all you need to do. Stop thinking. Focus in the present. Focus on what you do. Don't send your mind to the past or the future. Keep it in the present, here and now. And do only what you have to do. What you don't have to do, don't do. What you have to do is meditation, 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 and work for your body. You need to work to maintain your body. You need to have a certain amount of income to keep your body going. But once you have that, then don't do other things. Don't go to entertainment or holidays or anything like that. Spend your time on meditation rather than watching a movie or talking to your friends on the phone or going to social Facebook pages and look at all the things that people do. These are all delusional, and they will create more delusion for you, more defilement for you. So try to stop this thing. Restrain your sensual organs, your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Try not to come into contact with all the sensual objects. Like stay at home and do meditation, walking, sitting meditation, until the time for you to go to sleep. And then when you get up in the morning before you go to work, maybe do some more meditation. And then when the time for you to go to work, just work only. When you finish working, come back and look after your body. You have to eat, you have to cook, whatever. Then do the work that you have to do. Once you finish, then continue on with your meditation. Forget about entertainment. Forget about this thing. They're harmful. They're like drugs. They're like addiction. And once you're addicted to it, it's very difficult to stop. So I lay down this roadmap for you. Do you think you can follow it? It's quite simple. Work to maintain your body. That's all you have to do. The purpose of working is to maintain your body. And then when you have done that, then if you have spare time, then practice meditation, practice mindfulness. Actually, you have to practice mindfulness even when you work for your body also.
So I'm doing my best. Sometimes it's not easy.
Who said it's easy? I never said it's easy.
It's very fast. Everything
but
is
it's
going
not.
on very
But it's
fast.
not impossible. It's not impossible. There's one thing that we can have solace on is that it's not impossible to achieve great things like the Buddha did. But it's not easy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of persistence. It takes a lot of patience also. Okay? All right. So the key is mindfulness. Don't think. Think only what you have to. Don't think about your father. He's gone. You don't know where he is now.
I feel disappointed. I'm also like caught off guard. I thought I was quite all right. I've been quite all right until when I talked to the HR today. The HR was expecting me to do. I should just, because people are exploiting, wanting me to do more things. So the
Definitely.
HR, so I got called up by the HR. And
Yeah, don't be surprised. Yeah, this is a dark world, you know.
that's right.
It's a rat race. Everybody racing for making money, and they don't care who they step over. So you just,
So
don't expect anything from anybody.
and
Expect the worst, hope for the best, but expect the worst. Then you won't be disappointed.
So I will have to make decisions as to how to go about finding alternative to maintain the body. If it's not, if it cannot be in line with this current changes, then I will have to think about it again. If not, then it's also no point stuck in the rat race like that. And maybe I look for alternative.
Okay.
Just more meditation to keep up the confidence, self-confidence.
Yeah. If you can meditate, you have happiness, and you find that you don't have to rely much on other things, and you can live simple, have very few possessions, and you won't have much expense either. So you won't have to work so much harder, so much to maintain your lifestyle. The more expensive your lifestyle is, then the more you need to make the money to pay for it. Look at the Buddha, for example. He lives like a beggar. This way he doesn't have to maintain his lifestyle with much money. Okay, let me go to the other people.
Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Okay, Sri and Chek. You're next.
Ajahn.
Hello, Ajahn.
It's good teaching. You gave really good
Okay.
teaching now.
Any question? Any comment?
You say you never say it's easy. It's but it's not impossible. That's good encouragement.
The Buddha promised that anybody follow his teaching, they can become enlightened in 7 days, 7 months, or 7 years. It depends on their own ability. We all have different abilities, but we can achieve what he teaches us to achieve if we just follow his teaching. But he never said it's easy.
That's the thing.
But he said it's not impossible.
It's that's very realistic encouragement. You encourage us, but you don't. You don't.
I think there are other things that are a lot harder than practicing meditation, like building a spaceship, for instance, sending the spaceships to Mars, into space. I don't think these things are easy. And the human can achieve these things. So why cannot they achieve enlightenment? Much easier when you compare. You don't need much things to do it, like you building a spaceship, Really, I think to achieve enlightenment is a lot easier than building a spaceship.
Really?
Or spending people to space or to the moon and so forth. I think this is a lot harder. And people could achieve that. They could achieve that. Or climb Mount Everest, for instance. I won't be able to climb Mount Everest, I confess to you right now.
That's harder.
What's so hard about walking meditation for 3 or 4 hours at a stretch when you compare to climbing Mount Everest?
I don't know. So, but it's I don't. But how come we
don't want to, right?
Actually, you're right, Ajahn. I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
You've been used to your old ways, and so your old habit. Old habit is hard to kick. Kicking the habit is the most difficult thing. And meditation is a kicking of the habit, of your old habit, and learning a new habit. That's all.
Right.
So it becomes hard because it's something that you haven't done. So you have to study the benefit that you can get from this meditation practice. Then it will then be able to convince you or inspire you to do it.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. Yeah. And it's harder than I mean, like climbing the Mount Everest is harder, but people still did it. So yeah, you're right.
Any question?
Yeah, talking about the old habit, like lately we've been trying to eat like simple, like really simple, but then I told Jack that by doing that, like certain sickness in my body, like I think has gone. Like I used to prone to having a headache, right? But then like because of eating like simple and cooking very simple, so it's gone. And I told Jack, no wonder like Buddha was giving us an example, like who has leprosy used to use fire, right, to put on his wound. And now when we see those like food that we used to take like cause so much harm to our body, so that's why we do not want to take it anymore, and just hope that this will bring to our mind. I think the reason we didn't do that because we didn't see suffering in our mind, or we are not willing to let go.
Or not willing to look at the damage that it brings you. Like drinking alcohol, there's no benefit to the body or to the mind, but people keep drinking them and getting sick from them.
Yeah, you're right, Ajahn. But like, there's so much advertisement that, for example, red wine is good for the heart and things like that. But when I told Sui when I was studying medicine, every single sickness we have to ask the patient if do you drink alcohol, and every single sickness there's a link to alcohol, and it's causing the sickness. There's a link, so it's obviously that it's harmful, but still there's so much advertisement that for example red wine is good for the heart and things like that, like but with the evidence, if you study It's totally every single sickness you can see the link alcohol and there's a link with sickness.
It's also partly a cultural thing. And this is something that people has been passing on from generation to generation. How to deal with stress by drinking. See? So when they're stressful, they drink. So they get drunk and then they forget about what causes the stress for temporarily. But then the next day they come back and face the same old problem. So they have to go drink some more. So never ending. But they don't know the other how to solve the stress any other way. See? If they come across Buddhism, then they'll find a different way of dealing with the stress. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we have to replace meditation with all other things. Yeah.
Yeah, meditation and also keeping the precepts, like the fifth precept, not taking alcohol or any intoxicant.
Yes, Ajahn.
Thank you.
They don't solve the problem. Yeah. They create more problem than they solve. The problem they solve is a they stop the stress temporarily, but they're creating more stress when they become hooked to the alcohol. You know. And they drink too much, it can cause harm to their body also, and harm to their family, because they will become unproductive and they can become a source of problem to the family.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Uma, you're next. Uma from Pakistan.
Yes. Hello, Ajahn. How are you, Wilson?
Any question?
Yes, Ajahn. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So, right. So this week I took your advice about
Can you
practicing
speak a bit louder? Can you speak a bit louder?
Right, Ajahn. I hope this is loud enough.
This is good. This is good.
But I cannot hear you. Okay. Anyway, I'll speak my mind. I have been practicing Buddha this week for at least 4 days. Before I used to do Anapanasati, and I have been deeply mindful these days, like really, really mindful from morning till evening. And because of Buddha, it's always on my mind, except for in very intimidating situations, like driving the motorcycle or talking, or when you really need to have your attention on things. So with that being said, how do you practice the mantra 24 hours of the day? I mean, how is that even possible? Mahabuddha said that he practiced all the time, and all his daily activities like eating, drinking, or whatever were all taken care of as if they were being done normally. How is that even possible? How can you have so much mindfulness that the only thing on your mind is Buddha?
That's because you don't have to work or deal with other people if you're a monk. See? You're mostly by yourself. And whatever you do, you don't have to think. You don't have to talk to other people. So you can maintain this mindfulness almost all the time. Not all the time, there might be few lapses here and there, but it's still there when you are free from doing other things. Then you come back to your mantra.
Right, because when I was reading his book, he said that he was able to practice it without any decline. But when normal people like us, we do it, sometimes we have days when there's strong mindfulness. Other times we have days when there's no mindfulness. For example, today there is no mindfulness at all.
That's because you're still on the beginning level. See, he is more advanced level. So mindfulness can be different from people to people, depending on the stage of their development. if you're fully in advanced mode, then you will be almost mindful. You can almost maintain the mantra all day long.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed was that the more I practice mindfulness in activities like walking, eating, or whatever, the less inclined I feel to meditate in sitting. Like I'm just okay with being mindful, but not with meditating. So do you ever feel like that?
Not really. If you're really mindful, you'll find that you want to meditate. You want to, because you'll find that when you meditate, when you sit down and not doing anything, you know that your mind will be calmer and feeling better from meditation. That's because maybe you haven't done any meditation, sitting meditation yet. And you haven't yet experienced the peace that arises from meditation. So you're not interested.
And how do you remove the boredom from meditation? You said it's all peace and quiet. But
There's no
sometimes
boredom. If your mind is peaceful and you're happy, there's no boredom there. If the boredom is when you're not getting there. See, that's caused the boredom. So you have to keep on doing until you get to the point where you find peace and happiness. And then from that stage on, you will be hooked to doing the meditation automatically without having to force it. But before that, you have to keep forcing yourself to meditate.
right, when I read Huang, he said that this happens because your mind needs to be interested in meditation. It needs to like meditation, it needs to like doing it. Otherwise, it will not do it.
If you can get the result from meditation, then you'll be hooked to it. But if you haven't yet, then you have to rely on the other people experience, like the Buddha experience, that teaches us that it's the best kind of happiness you can get from meditation. And then by believing in this, then you will then can keep forcing yourself to keep on training yourself in mindfulness and sitting in meditation until eventually you get to the result. Once you get to the result, then you can forget about what other people say, because you have experienced it yourself, and you find that it's good for you, and you want to do it more and more.
I want to share something from yesterday, which I feel has really affected my expectations of meditation. So yesterday I've been extremely busy this week. Yesterday I had high hopes of meditation. I was thinking that when I would return home, I would find time, sit down and meditate. But instead, I was so wrapped up with work that I spent the entire evening that night, 12 a.m., just working and working and working. And I was so sleepy by that time, I just could not meditate. And this happens all the time with people who are occupied with work. This can happen with anybody. So how do you reconcile this? Would you have had me meditate and not sleep, or would you have wished that I had gone to sleep and meditate the next day or some other day?
Well, you have to just divide up your time. You have to divide up your time for different works. What you have to do, and then what you need to do, like sleeping. You need to work, and then if you have some more time, then you use it for meditation. You have to prioritize your time also. What comes first? What comes last?
So, is there a way we can cut back on meditation time and just use mindfulness by really intently practicing Buddha all day, every day?
Well, mindfulness, you can do it with every work that you do, but it might not be the right kind of mindfulness that will help in your meditation. Because the right kind of mindfulness is the mindfulness without thinking, just merely knowing. But if you have to think, then it's not the right kind of mindfulness you want, because if you keep thinking, then when you come to meditate, you find your mind still wants to keep on thinking. So you find it hard to meditate.
Right,
So
because
if you really want to advance or move forward in your meditation practice, you just have to give up working and become a monk, really. This is my best advice for you. Otherwise, you will just have to,
right. I mean, what we can do is something slightly different. Like if you read the suttas, the Buddha says that uh, the, the the ingredients for concentration, the factors for concentration, are things like appropriate attention and ardency and alertness. So I was thinking more along the lines of, if you have those things much more than time, then you have much more of a shot for samadhi than when you're not, than when you're meditating most of the time. For example, if you have more mindfulness and less time, you have more of a chance of a samadhi. But if you have less mindfulness and more time, then you have less chance of samadhi. Isn't that right?
well, it's just something you have to prove it to yourself. It's a theory right now, so you have to prove it, whether it works for you or not.
And when you're practicing Buddha, a time comes in the day when the Buddha is on auto mode. So it's being repeated in the mind as a conditioning instead of mindfulness. Mahaprabhu said that this can happen. I think this is good because this means that even though mindfulness may have been slightly reduced, but the kamatana is still there in the mind, which means that there is still a chance of mindfulness returning to the mind and a chance of jhana. So what do you have to say about that?
Nothing. Whatever he said is what he said. I can't change his word,
So whenever you practice Buddha, was there ever a time when, even though you were your mindfulness has slipped out of place, Buddha was still in the mind, like it's still being repeated?
I usually, well, sometimes when you recite something, your mind can go and thinking about something in parallel with what you recite. That means you're not mindful anymore.
So there are two sides to this solution. Some say you have to relax. You have to relax your mind, relax your body, and then your mind will be really aware. And then there are other people who say that you have to be really forceful. You have to fight. You have to fight the kilasas, dhammas, and defilements, and all those things. And you have to really, really pound your mind into being mindful at the present moment. And then you will have a chance of samadhi. Which one is more effective in your experience?
Everything has a middle path, So it's something that you have to find out for yourself what is right for you. I cannot really give you an answer to this question. You just have to try it both way, I guess. Try it this way, and if it doesn't work, try the other way. And if the other way doesn't work, then you might have to try somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Practice is like trial and error. To do the practice is like doing trial and error. You have to find the right balance for yourself. So it's not the same with everybody.
There is a general pattern we can follow. When you first started meditating in your house for 1 year, when you were working with the ice cream shop, did you experience intense problems of mindfulness or concentration?
Oh yes, from time to time I feel very stressful because my mindfulness just disappear and I start to imagining things, thinking about all the good things I used to have, used to enjoy, and then and my desire, my craving start coming up. And then I have to use wisdom to tell myself that if I go back to the same old way, right, stepping back, walking back, I might have some enjoyment when I first go out, but after a while, this enjoyment will disappear. And
you did that for a year, right?
Yeah. There are times when I have to fight with my own craving, my urges.
And you were without a teacher. You were doing it all by yourself.
Oh, I have books. I read Dhamma books. Yeah, I read.
Right, but they're not the same thing as an in-person teacher.
No, but that's better than nothing. See, You cannot say that I don't have a teacher. I have a teacher, but not in a person teacher. But
Right. So I guess that's what I thought. I should follow your pattern. Like just rely on what I've learned from you and Mahabu and everybody else, and just keep on going.
Also from the Buddha, I think don't overlook the Buddha's teaching. Study his sutta also.
Right.
If you can find the book on Satipatthana Sutta with commentary, I use that book as my meditation manual. It's published by the Buddhist Publication Society in Ceylon, Sri Lanka.
But Nayanapoli Thera, I think.
I'm not sure by who, but some Yanapoli also Yanaponika.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who, but one of
I
these
checked your
monks.
website. It was written. This was the author. You're right. This was his name. Yes, you're right. You're right. So, and how did you motivate yourself to continue practicing? What were your actual motivations?
Well, actually, my motivation is because if I don't succeed, then I have to go back and work, and I didn't like the work that I did.
I hate my work too, you know.
Yeah. So I just have to succeed. There's no other way.
Right. And did you ever listen to music at the time to motivate yourself? Because I have an intense dopamine drive. So
once I started meditation, I gave up all the sensual objects for any encouragement. Because I know they are like drugs, you know, there has harmful effect to them also. The benefit is there, but there's also the harmful effect.
I know, but if you have like really bomb-ass music to listen to, you can bang the drums and you can really feel motivated to meditate because now you're just so fired up and you feel, okay, now I can sit down and meditate. I don't feel so lazy anymore. This is like how I feel, bending the, what you call precepts, bending the precepts to your will because music is clearly forbidden in the precepts.
Well, you know, I cannot comment on this. If you find it useful for you, you do it, you know.
And now I want to talk to you about wisdom because you said that wisdom is when we have wisdom of the body and wisdom of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. That's when we progress in our meditation because when we have wisdom, we have samadhi, like Mahaprabhu said. And so can we get wisdom without extreme meditation, like just mindfulness alone?
Yes, but not enough to get rid of your cravings.
Right.
The purpose of having profound wisdom is to get rid of all your cravings, your desire, your delusion.
No. But when you read Mahabua and Teacher Ajahn, they said that they practice wisdom all day, every day in their minds until they went to sleep. Because wisdom leads to enlightenment, not samadhi. Otherwise, everybody would be enlightened.
He's talking about when he has entered into the level of wisdom after he had already achieved samadhi.
Mahapanya and
yeah, it's a different level he's talking about.
Oh my God.
Once you're in the wisdom level, then you keep contemplating more than you meditating. You only to the point where you become agitated, and then you realize that you have lost the balance. So you have to stop contemplating and come back to meditate to calm your mind.
Right. And this contemplation, this investigation, this can we do this like in activity, in our daily activities?
You can do it in all in your daily activity. If you have to think about your activity, then you cannot contemplate. See.
Right. You cannot do both things at once. Like you cannot talk to a person and contemplate on their body at the same time, right?
Yes, you can, because there are lapses in your conversation. When you're not talking, then you can contemplate on the impermanence of the body, of your body and the person you're talking to.
So, for example, if we are in a conversation and people are talking to each other, but nobody is just exactly talking to you for a moment or two, So is that a good opportunity to contemplate on the body, or you should just
Yes, you
contemplate
can
afterwards?
you can contemplate on your body and everybody's body in that room with you. That they are impermanent. They are super.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that on your body too, you know.
Anybody, your body, my body is all the same.
And what about contemplation on things that are not the body?
Yes, they are
Things.
anicca. They come and go. They eventually come to an end. Your relationship with everything, and every people will come to an end one day.
And the contemplation on the chitta, on consciousness.
Our consciousness is different. Your consciousness has emotion that rises and ceases inside your mind.
Right. This is what I'm interested in, and contemplating on the chitta. What is it called? Chitta samadhi or something.
Yeah,
Mindfulness of the chitta.
but I think if you don't have enough mindfulness, then you won't be able to deal with the chitta yet. You want to deal with your body first, and then your feeling, and then eventually your mind.
So it has to be in an order.
Yes, more or less, because of the difficulty that you have to deal with. The body is much easier than to deal with the feelings, and the feeling is much easier to deal with the emotions.
That may be so, but I find that contemplating on awareness is much easier in my case. Like, for example, you ask questions: is this awareness personal or impersonal? You ask, is this chitta something in the body or outside the body? And the answer is clear that everything appears within awareness, within this chitta, and not the other way around. Is that a valid inquiry, or is that a delusion?
See, when you contemplate on the mind, you want to look at the defilement, really. That's all you want to get solved, like anger, fear, or hatred, for instance. These are the things that you want to solve, to get rid of your mind.
Those are Vedana feelings, right?
They are part of the contemplation, say, but you don't see them. You don't talk about them. When you're angry, that's already another form of chitta rising in your mind. When you're greedy, when you're craving, these are all chitta doing it.
What about the pure chitta, just the mind itself, the bare?
The pure chitta has no craving, no greed, no hatred, no love, no hate.
So this is the direction one has to take. And
when you contemplate the mind, you want to get rid of the impurities in the mind. See?
Impurities in the mind. I see.
But before you can go to that point, you have to get rid of your body, your attachment to your body and your feeling first, before you can deal with the mind effectively. Because it's the mind that is attached to the body and the feelings. So you want to get rid of it one by one.
And any and all contemplation that is done, whether it's on the body, feelings, minds, or objects, everything that has to do with contemplation, does that give rise to samadhi?
No, you already have samadhi before you go to do this contemplation.
No, I mean, what if you go to contemplation first and samadhi later?
That's not possible. The Buddha said you need to have samadhi before you can contemplate effectively, to keep the mind calm permanently. The purpose of wisdom is to keep the mind calm permanently by getting rid of the defilements. But before you can do that, you need to have the mind to become calm temporarily first by practice of mindfulness.
Right. But didn't you say just a moment ago that we can contemplate in activities as well if we have gaps in our time?
I'm not saying you asked the question, so I answer your question. You can do that, but when you practice mindfulness, you don't want to do any contemplation.
I see.
Okay, I think that's enough for you today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Ajahn.
The people waiting. Alfredo, you're next. Alfredo from Brazil. You're well now?
I want it.
Yeah, you look good.
I was reading a Mahaboa teaching about detachment. He looks at an object, and 1 minute after he not remember more the object. Please tell you are a disciple him. The practice his practice this teaching this practice is I think is very good practice, né? Not have attachment for things, né? The thing is delusion, né, Bante? But
yes. If you attach to them, then it can cause you dukkha.
Yes.
So if you're not attached to them, then there will be no dukkha for you.
Yes.
See, like you don't have a wife, so you have no dukkha with a wife because you're not attached to a wife. You live alone. But if you're attached to a wife, then you have to have a wife, and then you will have dukkha with your wife. You worry about her. If something is wrong, something wrong with her, then you have dukkha. But when you have no wife, then there will be no dukkha from your wife to cause you.
Yes.
So the same way, not to attach means not to have really, or have and not attached. Have and it doesn't bother you whether you have it or not. You can have it or lose it anytime. That's what non-attachment means. Like your body, are you still attached to your body? If you're attached to the body, then you're still worried about your body. But if you're not attached to your body, then you're not worried about your body, whether it lives or dies.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ajahn Mahaboa, not the things not belongs to him, né? The things not relation with him.
Nobody owns anything in this world. Everything is just a temporary possession. Even your body is a temporary possession. One day you have to give it up.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very good teachings.
So no attachment. Sabbe Dhamma anatta. Nothing belongs to us.
Yes.
Okay.
The future is more difficult to me than the past. The past,
it's already gone. It's already gone. The past is already gone.
Yes, the past is more easy, but the future is more difficult to forget.
No, it's not here yet. You don't have to think about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Enough? All right. Let me go to Alvin. Okay. Alvin, you're next.
Okay. Good evening, Ajahn. Ajahn, I just want to ask one question in terms of the place that we meditate. The fact that if we meditate in a very comfortable place, aircon room, would that slow down our progression?
Well, the place where you meditate can help you or can deter your practice to move forward. If you are used to a certain environment, your practice might become stale, might become stagnant. So you might want to find a different environment in which it will stimulate your practice more. Like if you go to practice in a more discomfort place, it might force you to use more mindfulness to cope with the discomfort. So if you want to advance, then you have to increase the hostility of your environment, make it more harsher. So it requires you to use more mindfulness to cope with things around you.
Right.
The less comfort, then the more mindfulness will arise to deal with the less comfort.
Right. So if you don't have strong mindfulness, if there is discomfort, there would be distraction, right? I mean, you will be fighting with your mind will probably be fighting with the discomfort, and if you're not careful, you probably get angry as well.
Well, it depends. That's why you have to know the strength, your own strength, whether you can deal with the increased hostility of the environment or not. If you're not, then you have to stick with the present environment and try and hope to increase more mindfulness before you can go and deal with a harsher environment. Like sometimes you have to leave your home and go and practice in a monastery, for instance, and you will find that the conditions are different.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Kek Yen So from Penang. Kek. Any question from you today?
No question. I'm listening, Ajahn. Good evening to you.
Okay, nice to see you.
Thank
you. Phoebe, you're next from Toronto. You're up early today, huh?
Good day, Venerable Ajahn. Yes, I promised my mother that I would come because actually she is having internet problems, so she and my sister cannot be here today. But I'm happy to listen. Thank you.
Any question?
No, thank you.
Okay. Then let me go to Mike. Mike, where are you from, Mike? Singapore?
Hi, Ajahn. Yes, I'm from Singapore.
Any question?
I've been listening to advice. So I try to recite a mantra and be mindful of body from the time I wake up. But if I'm working, then it's quite impossible. So I try to meditate at night. So I have this question. Usually, like 90 minutes into the meditation, I'll feel like excruciating pain in my legs. So should I go back to reciting a mantra, or should I focus on the pain?
You should not focus on the pain because it will stimulate more desire to get rid of the pain, and there will be more stress to the point where you will not be able to continue on sitting. So you want to go away from the pain by reciting a mantra or do some chanting instead to keep the mind away from the pain. So when there's no knowledge of the pain, then there will be no craving or desire to get rid of the pain. Then there will be no stress in the mind.
And Ajahn, when I go back to reciting the mantra, I should not change my position, right?
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
Just keep the position the same, because if you move, then the pain will disappear. Then you restart it.
Restart again. Okay.
You don't want to restart. You want to deal with the pain. Teach the mind to leave the pain alone. That's the purpose of training.
Okay. Yeah, that's all for me tonight. Thank
because
you.
in future, when you have to take the test, you'll find that the pain you can, no matter how you move your body, the pain will still be there. Like when you're sick.
Okay. So I just keep reciting, right? Reciting the mantra. Okay.
To stop your mind from having any reaction toward the pain.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
And it also will make the mind becomes calm and have equanimity also. Then once you have that, then the mind will become undisturbed by the pain and coexist with the pain.
Okay, I'll try again later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jason Ong from Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajahn. Good evening, Ajahn. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Yes, I can hear you.
No, I'm just listening. Just now, Alvin was saying that the environment, if it's too comfort, you need to change a bit to a bit more hostile. my question is that if you are in a comfortable environment and you can go into the samadhi, does it matter? Or do you still need to go to the hostile environment to experience how your mind works?
Yes, because the comfort environment and a hostile environment will cause different reaction from the mind. See? So you want to have all types of environment to test the mind, so that it can remain always calm and not reactive to any type of environment.
Even though if you can get into the samadhi, your mind is calm during the comfort zone, you still want to test it out in the hostile area.
Yes, that's when you want to develop wisdom. Because in real life, sometimes you cannot choose the environment. Sometimes the environment chooses you. And so you need to have wisdom to deal with the changing environment.
Okay, thank you, Tanajan. I have no further question. Just to say that I'm starting to get to a bit of samadhi already, and I'm maybe a little bit of enjoying my meditation now. So thank you to all your advice, Tanajan.
So you have to realize that life is not always rosy like today. Right now, maybe you are having a comfort environment, but who knows when this environment will change. The status of your body will change. When your body gets older, it becomes more hostile to the mind than when it's younger. The body can turn into an enemy also, not always your friend.
What about if you say for example, if you go into samadhi and you manage to get into during a comfort zone, but if you're able to achieve something like jhanas and things like that, do you still need to go out to the hostile area to test it out?
Well, to test whether you can go into jhana or not under those environments.
In a hostile region.
Yeah.
So you do both.
Yeah. And also you want to develop wisdom, and to take the test, you need to have hostile environment to take the test of wisdom.
Okay.
Whether you can see the truth of anicca and anatta or not. Because you have to see the changing of the environment to see the anicca and anatta nature of things.
Okay, thank you, Tanajan. And no more further question. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Next is Claudia. Hi, Claudia. You wait a long time today. Almost 2 hours.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon from Germany. It's my joy to be here, and thank you for your teaching. I have a question today. So currently I feel very tired and very drowsy also in my meditation. And once in a while it happens that I fall in a kind of sleep, but I'm aware that I'm sleeping. It's a weird condition. So what can I do to overcome this drowsiness?
Well, it depends on what causes your drowsiness. Sometimes overeating can make you drowsy. So you might have to eat less. And if you don't have enough sleep, it also can cause you drowsiness. So you might have to sleep more on that particular day. It depends on the situation. But if everything is normal, you eat normally and you have enough sleep and you're still drowsy, it means it's your defilement. Then you have to force yourself to be active, like walking meditation.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Or you force yourself to go to be in some place where it's kind of scary, because when you're scary, you become alert. You're not drowsy.
Okay. I think maybe one of the problems is that I have hay fever and I take medicine against the hay fever, and this
that can
makes
cause you sleepy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you have to accept your fate, I guess. Yeah. It's just part of your fate that you have to take this medicine to deal with your illness.
Yeah. Yeah, so
can you reduce the amount of medicine though? Or only take them when you really absolutely necessary, when you absolutely need it?
yeah, when it's absolutely necessary. I try to take it only when I almost can't breathe anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Is that all?
That is all, yeah, for today. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Let me go to Lillian. Hi, Lillian, from Bangkok. You still living in Bangkok?
Still living in Bangkok. We're having holidays now.
Okay.
I have a question today. I'm wondering, how do we let go of after meditating, right? I do realize that there are a lot of things that I need to change. But we have been brought up to be how we are for so many years already, like 40 over years. That's how we are, and no matter how conscious we are about what we are not doing right, when the situation arises, we always come back to our old self. And for my case, it always make people around me very upset, and it stresses them up as well. Um, how do I let go of that previous self that is not so ideal?
By concentrating on the consequence of your habit, see, that is not good. It doesn't produce good consequence. Then this will encourage you to try to stop it, stop your habit and change to a better habit. You have to look at the consequence of your old habit.
I think sometimes I can see the consequence, but I still do it. So maybe it'll take some time, I guess.
You just have to be more proactive, and you have to, if you want to succeed, then you have to resist your old habit.
Okay.
Because if you don't resist, then you will always fall prey to your old habit. You know, keep following your old habit.
Okay. It's really hard.
It's hard, but it's not impossible.
Correct.
You think of the good thing that will come afterwards. If you can give up your old bad habit and get a new habit, like strength, then people around you might be happier.
Yes. Yes, because at the moment it stresses out people around me, and it's not a good thing.
That's right. So if you can change, and you make other people happy, and you also will be happy from changing.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have today.
Okay. Next, Happy Hoodie. Hi, Happy. Where are you from? First time here?
Vandami Bante. I'm from Bangalore, India. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good. Any question?
Yes, Bante. My practice is usually the Goenkaji method of first Anapana, and then practicing Vedananupasana, and then Metta. So when I observe when I do the Vedananupasana and observe the solar plexus area, it gets very, very peaceful. But that anicca awareness, how do I do it? Like when I get there and then go to the panya wisdom, because that is like, seems like for a long time that anicca, we can't feel that it is changing, but it stays there for a long time. Only once we like come out of it, then we know that it's impermanent. It goes away. So how do I practice? Like, is it that you have to practice anapana for a long time, or when I come to this Vedananupasana and get to that stage of really peacefulness, and then go to panya?
When you do feeling contemplation, you want to teach your mind that there are three types of feelings that come and go, keep changing. Painful feeling, not painful feeling, neutral feeling. So you want to teach your mind to deal with them. Normally we can deal with not painful feeling, neutral feeling, or good feeling, but we cannot deal with the painful feeling. So it's the painful feeling that we want to train the mind to learn to deal with it, to be able to live with it by accepting that the painful feeling is anatta, meaning it's not under your control. You cannot force it to go away when it comes. So the only way that you can deal with the painful feeling is to teach your mind to accept the painful feeling and to accept it with equanimity by understanding the nature of the painful feeling, that they are not under your control. So they are like the weather, for instance, they are not under your control. So you learn to accept the weather, you learn to accept the painful feeling like you accept the weather, then there will be no problem with your mind. Okay?
So is it the same, Ajahn? Even if, say, like you were just talking about the conditions that we have to go to a difficult place.
That's right,
So I have
because it
been to
will
a place,
create,
a monastery where.
yes, it will create more bad feelings for you to deal with.
Yes.
Discomfort is
Because
also
I went to this place which was really, really hot.
discomfort can be
Yes,
considered
it was really hot,
painful feeling.
and I used to get this like very like needle-like feeling, and I was feeling because of the environment there.
Not eating dinner.
But
Not eating
yes, like
dinner
again,
can
someone was
also.
talking about this samadhi, where you get really good samadhi.
Yes, so you need to change the environment or change your habit to create painful feeling for you to deal with. Like if you keep the 8 precept, then you cannot have meal after midday. So there will be painful feeling from hunger. Then you will want to use meditation to deal with it. Use wisdom. Say, oh, this is the way the body works. Sometimes you have good, happy feeling. Sometimes you have painful feeling. So you have to learn to live with it by meditating. Keep your mind calm. Once your mind becomes calm, then it will not be affected by the painful feeling, the hunger of the body. All right. This is what this is
So
about.
it is always advised.
It's not just watching ordinary feeling throughout when your body is well and there's no painful feeling, and you say, oh, the pain, the feeling changes, but it's very minimal. It's not. It doesn't bother the mind. You want to deal with the feeling that really bother the mind, so that the mind will learn to be not bothered by them. See? Like
So
painful feeling.
Is it the same thing that we have to do when we have a peaceful feeling as well, when it is really peaceful?
No, peaceful feeling is something we want to encourage, because something we can generate and can control with mindfulness and wisdom. But other thing we cannot control. The painful the feeling come through the body, we cannot control. It's anicca, it's changing, and not under our control. But the good feeling of happy feeling from meditation, this we can control. We can practice. We can do this. So we want to encourage to do this, to use this type of feeling to make us happy, rather than the feeling from the body or from other objects. Okay.
So I have one more question, Ajahn. So in case we are developing samadhi and we are using two different types of kamatana, is it advisable just to use one for a long time? Say, for example, anapana and metta. So is it better that I use one, or can I use sometimes metta as well and then practice anapana if you're doing it for a long time?
I think the main one you want to use is anapanasati, mindful of breathing. To bring you into complete stillness, you need anapanasati. But you use metta when you have problem, like when you get anger. When you have anger, when you're angry at someone, then you want to use metta to calm your mind, calm your anger. Once your mind becomes calm, normal, then you come back to anapanasati. If you're not angry with anybody, then you don't need to use metta. Better to use your breathing if you can focus on your breathing. Okay. It's only when you're distracted
Because I was going through one of the
anger.
suttas. One of the suttas is the metta sutta.
Yeah, metta is like an antidote to your anger. When your mind becomes angry and you cannot focus on your breathing, then you have to use metta to subdue your anger first. Once your anger is subdued, then you can come back and focus on your breathing. Okay? So your main meditation object should be anapanasati, while the other things are just antidote to your emotions that arise, such as anger. If you have sexual desire, then you have to use asubha to calm your mind.
Right.
Once your mind becomes calm, then you can come back and then watch your breathing. Eventually, you are going to have to come back to your breathing. Your breathing will be the vehicle to lead you into jhana. Okay?
Yes, and the 7 factors of enlightenment, the Bhojangas, how do we develop? Like, is it developed while on meditation, or this because it is sati and then
Yes,
upekha?
you just go to sati. You just go to anapanasati, and then once you have anapanasati, you have equanimity from jhana. And then you want to wisdom, when you come out of jhana, you want to start contemplating on the 3 characteristics and the 4 noble truths. Then you get all this factor of enlightenment.
This is while in the jhana that we contemplate this?
No. After you come out jhana. When you're in jhana, your mind is still, your mind is not working, not thinking. Don't force it to think, because you want to generate as much peace and equanimity from the mind in jhana as possible. Only after it comes out of jhana, then if you want to develop wisdom, then you have to contemplate on the 3 characteristics of existence concerning the body, feelings, and the mental states. All right?
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay.
That's all.
Next, Constant from Singapore. You're next. Do you have any question?
Good evening, Ajahn. Actually, before the talk, I had some problems the whole day. And then, but before the talk, I decided to sit down and meditate to clear my mind so that I can ask more clearly. But after I meditated, I now feel like I don't have a question anymore.
That's right.
So I also want to add that I'm very thankful for this community, because when I first moved back, it feels a bit strange to be a Buddhist, in a sense that the people around me didn't really understand when I really start to want to study into it, and some friends start to find me weird, or I stop going for certain things, and I feel quite lonely. But now, as I understand more and I'm able to have such a platform, I just want to say I'm very grateful and happy to be here.
Okay, you're welcome to join us every week. We're here every Tuesday night.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that's all.
Next, Evie or Eva? Evie, you're next. Where are you from?
Can you hear me, Ajahn?
Yeah, I have to speak louder though.
I am from Indonesia. This is the first time joining. But I said my English are not good enough. I really want to join, but I don't know when the schedule and what time. Sometimes it's past. I just got it, so I just watched but couldn't join. So today I just joined the first time accidentally. Can I know what time is the schedule for the next job?
Tuesday night, every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Thailand time. I think same time as Indonesia.
8 p.m. every Tuesday.
Yeah, from 8 p.m.
1 week or one time, sir?
Yeah, once a week. Every Tuesday night.
Yes. Actually, I have more question, but I must. My English are not good, so I have to type in the translator and I can read to you, Ajahn.
Go ahead.
Today I not have question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For the next time, maybe.
Next time, maybe you can prepare the question and then ask.
Okay, I will prepare. I have a much question, but I'm not type it today.
All right. You can listen to our talk right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to have you join us. Thank you. Okay, let me go to William. William. Hi, William. Are you from England or are you from the US?
I'm from England, Bante.
From England.
England.
Okay. All right. So have you solved your conscience problem yet? Your guilty conscience?
This is my big issue. I still very troubled by this karma issue.
Look at your past action like a stone that you already threw. It's gonna fall somewhere. You cannot go and retrieve it. Just be prepared to accept the consequence of your past action.
However serious the consequence, sometimes the consequence could be very serious, and it becomes very frightening to think about it.
But you can minimize it by doing good karma right now in your present. Try to do as much good karma as possible. You can minimize the consequence, not the effect of the consequence, but not the consequence, but the effect that will affect your mind can be minimized by your good karma. So don't worry about it. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. That is beyond your control now. Just try to prepare your mind to face it when it comes up. Try to build a lot of mindfulness and equanimity. And when it comes up, your mind will not be affected. Have any question today?
No, this is my big question, Bante, really.
Yeah. Okay, whatever you did in your past is already out of your hand. There's nothing you can change or anything like that. But you can prepare your mind to face the consequence. The stronger mindfulness, the stronger your equanimity, then the less harmful will affect your mind.
Yes.
So try to practice mindfulness and meditation.
Thank you very much.
And contemplate on anatta. Everything, whatever's going to happen is you cannot prevent or stop it from happening.
Could you tell me, Bante, do any Buddhists talk about God? Is God ever considered?
No, not part of our conversation.
Not at all.
Yeah, the Buddha only taught the truth about suffering, what causes suffering and what eliminates suffering in the mind, the Four Noble Truths.
And no Buddhist monk goes into God at all. They never really think about that at all.
I think the real God in Buddhism is karma. Our karma is the one that built us, sent us to be born in different realms of existence.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
So there's no a person God, but there's a non-person God, like our karma, our action.
Because some monks, when they like Christian people, they pray to God, but some Buddhists, they talk about Buddha as though the Buddha is, standing there in front of them, and they're wanting to, they kind of communicate with the Buddha in a way. I don't know if that's very common in Thailand.
No, I think that's a misunderstanding. The Buddha to us is just a teacher.
Yeah.
A teacher of mental.
And do some people kind of pray to the Buddha and ask for advice like that? No?
Oh yes, a lot of Thai Buddhists pray to Buddha for help, but this is a misunderstanding. It's because they don't study the teaching of the Buddha. The Buddha is just a teacher, a teacher of psychology. Really, that's what he is.
If
Teach
you
us how
wanted,
to-
if you wanted advice from the Buddha, you could pray to the Buddha and ask for advice like that?
No, you cannot. You have to read his teaching. His advice is in his teaching. How to solve your problem. And the Buddha said all your problems arise from your defilement, from your greed, hate, and delusion.
Yes.
So all you have to do is get rid of your greed, hate, and delusion. And all your problem will be solved.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Let me see who's next now. I have to move to the next page. Ricardo? Oh, no, first. Alisa Tang first. Alisa Tang first. You'll be next, Ricardo, after Alisa.
Good
Okay.
evening, Tan Ajahn.
From Singapore or Malaysia?
I'm from Malaysia, Ajahn.
Any question?
No, I'm listening. Today's my first day listening. So yeah, no question for today, Tan Ajahn.
Okay. Happy
Thank you.
to have you join our room.
Thank you, Tan Ajahn.
All right. Okay, Ricardo from Uruguay. You were here in Thailand visiting us a couple of years ago, right? With your wife.
Right. Hello, Ajahn. Thank you for. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good, very well.
Okay.
Happy to see
thank
you.
Happy to see you too, Ajahn.
Okay.
I went there twice or three times. Last year I could not go because of the virus and
Yes.
all that.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, hope so. First of all, I want to be very thankful for you for all the teachings you give every day, and tell you that we translate your teachings to Spanish, and in our Vihara or community, we give all your talks to about 100 people every day. So I was thinking and asking you if there is any chance that someday you give a Dhamma talk to our Sangha in Latin America. Like we have many people from different countries. Yesterday I gave a talk to Mexico, and maybe there's a chance. I don't want to push you or something like that, but ask you if there is any chance.
I don't think so, because I find it difficult to give Dhamma talk in English.
All right.
It's more easy for me to have question and answer thing. People ask question and then I give the answer. So if they want to, they can come and join our room here. But it might take them a while because there are quite a lot of people waiting in line to speak. But they can just watch, I guess, on Facebook Live, if they, or submit the question in the commentary box, and then we'll read it and answer it.
Thank you very much. Anyways, I will start this year to translate one of your books to Spanish, so we can give them in Spanish so they can read it, because they don't read English. So
good, very good. By the way, there was a gentleman from Argentina. He also offered to translate some of my books into Spanish also.
Oh,
I think what you can do is, once you have translated, you can send it to me and I'll post it on my Facebook, on my website for people to read, to download.
All right, thank you. I also would like to ask you, there's a book from Mahabodha whose name is something like Kamatana.
That's right. I translated that book.
Right. Do you think it should be useful for our community if I translate that book to Spanish?
think so. I think so, because it more or less summarizes the whole practice of Kamatana, of meditation, Vipassana, mindfulness, and Vipassana.
All right. All right. I just wanted to tell you that our community, although we don't have presence because most of them they don't speak English, but they are aware of all your teachings, and we learn every day from what you are teaching. So we are deeply thankful for your work, for devotion, and all you give to all of us. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to do it. I guess it's part of my job.
And you do it with love. Amor.
Metta, metta.
Amor. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Is that all? You have any
Yes.
question? No. All right. See you later. See? All right. Who else? Who hasn't yet have a chance to ask the question?
Anura.
Anura. Okay, Anura, you're next from New Zealand.
Hi, Ajahn. Good evening. Yeah, I think you have answered my questions when you answered car 5. So I don't have any questions today.
What time is it now? 1 or 2 o'clock?
I started 1 o'clock. I think now it's past 2 hours, I believe. Yeah.
You started at 1, so it's 3 o'clock now. 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next.
Ajahn.
All right. Next. Kyoyan Dong. Kyoyan Dong.
Hello, Ajahn.
Any question?
Just follow up on questions that Mike asked about the pain. If when I have a pain and before I listen to your teaching, like just ignore the pain and focus on the mantra or the breath. Sometimes when I just repeat it in my mind, pain, 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 and the pain disappeared. Is it also okay to do that first? And if it doesn't work, then we go to mantra and the breath to ignore the pain, or
Well, the pain, when you recite pain, pain, this is also a mantra already.
Oh, okay.
Instead of Buddha, you say pain, 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 pain. Or you can say anicca, anicca is impermanent, it's impermanent.
Right.
So if it works for you, it's fine. If it can keep your mind calm and not affected by the pain, and that's the goal. See? To teach your mind to learn to live with pain.
Yes, I found that it works only when mind was good enough, let's say. But when it's not good enough, then trying to ignore it works better. And sometimes it's just like strange. Like sometimes when it's like resolution. Oh, the pain will, like expected, the pain will come up, and then the pain is like nothing. It's so easy to overcome it when my mind was ready to take it.
That's right, because sometimes when you have aversion, that's when you're creating dukkha in your mind, which is more painful than the pain itself. So when you have no aversion, then the pain is not unbearable. You can deal with the pain.
And it's so little. It's like, it's such a big change.
That's right.
Such a big change.
It's your attitude, your mind attitude that's causing more problem than the problem itself.
And it's so it takes so little to change the attitude. Like, I'm ready, it's going to come up. I don't know whether I will win it or not, but it's going to come up, and it's like nothing.
That's right. You see the truth there. You see the truth that it's anatta. You cannot control it. It's going to come up. And so you prepare your mind for it. See? Once you prepare your mind, then your mind doesn't react. So there will be no stress in your mind. So the pain that you actually face is very minimal. The majority of the pain comes from the stress in your mind when you're not ready to accept it.
Is it too much or too big to say it's like something like, oh, I see anatta, or I see the truth? Is it because it's nothing? It's like,
yeah, it doesn't matter what you see or say, but it's how you feel that's important. If you feel calm, peaceful, and not affected by it, then that's the goal. That's what we want to do, to protect the mind from having any stress from anything that it comes across.
But when the pain doesn't come up, I feel like, oh, it's not. It's like there's no opponent for me anymore. It's like I'm not doing anything, something like that.
But don't worry, tell yourself it will come up again. You'll get sick one day. You have a toothache, you have something, don't worry. So be thankful that it's not here yet. But be ready for it when it comes, that's all.
Right.
The point is to be ready and not to have any aversion, not to have any fear of the pain, because this can cause you more pain than the pain itself.
Yeah. And not to be too happy that it's not here because it's coming anyway.
Well, if you know how to deal with it, then you can always be confident that when it comes, you will know how to deal with it.
Right. Can I also have some words with William? He was a bit concerned about the past karma. I was just thinking, if he could be enlightened very soon, today, tomorrow, or in a short time, all of his past karma is not going to do anything to him.
No, it will not affect him at all, but the consequences will still happen.
But I mean, like if he's enlightened in this lifetime and the karma doesn't come until the next life, if it's like
okay, then there will be no problem then. But if they should come up, they will not affect his mind. His mind can absorb all the consequences without having any dukkha.
Yeah, if it comes in this lifetime, then
yes.
He's fine. But
right.
if it's not coming, then it's not going to bear the fruit.
That's right. Because you won't be reborn again. So all your past karma will be nullified, will be void.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Who is next? Sajal Ka from Maryland, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Good evening, Ajahn. I have a quick question. I kind of know the answer of that. What is the best way to listen to the teacher?
Best way to listen to the teacher, when you just pay attention. That's the best way. Don't let your mind stray away to other things when your teacher speaks. Focus, listen to every word he said, because every word can mean something, can give you some knowledge that you might not know before. If you don't pay attention, then you might miss it.
But also I noticed that the defilements get activated if I'm irritated by somebody's question, because like to me, in a judgmental way, it looks like the person is trying to kind of expound on the reading and go on and on about that. And when I see that the mindfulness is my the base level thing that I really need. Meditation, all these things will be built on that. But the basic teaching, as I read from your books, is that the mindfulness is actually the paving stone. That's where I need to stand on first before I can do anything. Otherwise, I have read many books and suttas and stuff, and I think you are actually absolutely right, because in an intellectual way, you can get engaged forever and ever and ever, and you can even going without going meditation, without going to mindfulness, you can actually talk on hours and hours and argue for hours and hours. But that is not going to bring the peace in. This is how I kind of sense. And so when I listen to other people's arguments, I kind of feel irritated inside, but I don't want to be irritated. So that's the thing I wanted to bring up to.
You should have compassion for that person. He's still in the dark and he needs a lot of explanation, elucidation. It might take a while to bring him around, but eventually he'll get the point. The point is to stop thinking. Just like one person who said that before she came in, she had a lot of questions, but after she sat down and her mind becomes calm, all the questions disappear. And you discover that all these questions are non-essential, not important to know at all. But once you start to question it, then it becomes something important to you. But when your mind becomes calm and you stop thinking about them, then they don't mean anything to you anymore. So the less thought, the less question, the better. The goal is to stop thinking. Once you stop thinking, then all the question will disappear. Then you can really focus on the real question, the question of how to let go of your attachment to the three objects, your body, your feeling, and your mental states. These are the things that you should be concerned with more than any other thing. All right? You have any questions?
All right. That's all. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Fine. Who else?
ST.
ST, you're next. ST from Singapore.
Hi, evening, Ajahn.
Any question from you?
Okay, actually, I have no questions, but just an observation. Maybe in the next lesson, you can ask us questions to check our understanding and maybe whether we are awake or not.
No, I don't know what to ask.
No, just a suggestion. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I better let you ask because lots of you still need to have the right understanding. And by asking can help clarify some of your question. Okay, let me go to Ben. Sure, Ben from Singapore.
Yeah, good day, Ajahn from Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Any question today?
Today, I have two questions. I just have a good news and bad news. My good news is I get approved to go to the retreat center to take my 8th precept. Maybe we'll go further to the training as a monk. So the bad thing is I need to go to face my bad habits, my hindrance, fighting to my hindrance and overcome it.
Well, you have to look at like a disease that you have to fix. Mental disease, your hindrances are like mental diseases, like catching a cold or having a cough.
Yeah, it's long-term disease.
And you have to take the Dhamma medicine.
Uh-huh.
You have to take the 8 precepts. You have to isolate yourself. You have to train yourself in mindfulness and so forth in order to deal with your hindrances.
I need to clarify, recall back because last time you told me about the 5 khandhas. Can you correct me if I wrong misunderstanding? So is this the thing we start thinking from Sankhara and Sankhara pass to the Sanya and we Sanya start to how to say?
No, actually, yeah, you can say that Sankhara is the one who thinks, and Sanya is the one who perceives, or memorize, or remember. One Vijnana is the one that receives the sensual objects into the mind, connect the mind to the body.
to the Rupa, and Rupa go to assist to the
have contact with the
to get a Vedana.
the sensual organs have contact with the sensual objects. Then the feeling will arise. The feeling will have craving will come after the feelings.
And this feeling is bring back to the mind to make
So this feeling are good or bad, good feeling, bad feeling, or neutral feelings.
Okay. Yes, and
then this feeling will generate sankhara to create craving. If you like something, you will crave for it. If you don't like something, you will crave to get rid of it. See?
Okay. So is the next step is to our reaction to create
to stop your reactions.
Yeah.
Good or bad feeling, just remain neutral, remain unreactive to them. Then you don't have any sankhara involved. And no sankhara, no craving, then there will be no rebirth coming.
Yeah. Okay. And another question is, I'm not sure how to differentiate the Sotapanna and Skadagami. I see it look like very similar. They still have craving.
Well, see, the Sotapanna has got rid of the first three fetters. While the Sakadagami is trying to get rid of the two more fetters.
Two more fetters.
Yeah, two additional fetters. That of sensual desire and feeling of unpleasantness in the mind.
Okay. So this is only the difference between...
Yeah, because a Sotapanna will move up to a Sakadagami by trying to get rid of an additional two fetters, the sexual desire and the feeling of loneliness or unpleasantness when having this sexual desire. They come together, these two fetters. So, so you need to contemplate on Asubha, on the unpleasant aspect of the body, the repulsive aspect of the body, the disgusting parts of the body, to get rid of your sexual desire and your unpleasant feeling that associated with your sexual desire. If you can get rid of it 50%, you have reached the second level of, you have become a Sakadagami. And if you can get rid of it 100%, you have become the third level called the Anagami.
Anagami. Okay, we take the challenge.
You have to take the first three fetters first, especially the first one, the five skandha, as being anatta.
Yeah. Ananta, Anicca, and Dukkha.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one will be completed after the fourth jhana we can use to compensate, right?
Yes, once you have the fourth jhana, you have the strength to resist your craving, your attachment to the five khandhas. When you see that the five khandhas is no self, it's not you, you're not the five khandhas.
So the first goal is enter to the fourth jhana, right?
That's right, by using mindfulness such as anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, Bhuttanusati, reciting the mantra Bhutto Bhutto.
I think I would choose Bhutto because more effective for me.
Okay, whichever method.
Yeah. And thank you, very thankful for Ajahn to your wisdom of life to let me see the clear the path and to give me the confidence to come out for the first step.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hope to see you in the Wat Yan in future. Depend on the circumstances.
Okay, we'll see you then.
I will do my practice first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Next, Yannasami, you're the last person today, I think. Unmute your microphone, okay? So go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Any question?
I don't really have any questions in particular. No.
Okay, so if you don't have any question, I'll go to Facebook now for question. Kun La, is there any question from Facebook today?
Yes, there are 5 questions from Facebook and all come from Po Liang Sun. The first question is it need to contemplate something that to let go before practice meditation?
If you can contemplate and let go, then you can go ahead and do it. The problem is you tend not to be able to do that. So you need meditation first to give you the strength to contemplate and to let go.
Next question is, do we need to prepare stopwatch as time manage to prolong the practice?
No, you should use your mindfulness to prolong your practice, not keeping the alarm on. You have to be mindful. If you are mindful, you can continue with your meditation for a long time.
Next question, by only sitting meditate will be enough because I like sitting, that gives me joy and mindful.
Yes, if you can sit and meditate, then you can do that all day long if you like.
Next question, it is a law that create male together with female and cause to produce the problem. What's Ajahn comment?
I have no comment on this. I don't know.
And last question, can we test our patient by letting them do meditate in uncomfortable place?
That's part of the way to test your patient. When you're in a comfortable environment, you don't need much patience. But when you are in a hostile environment and you want to remain calm, you need a lot of patience. Actually, you need mindfulness to keep you to become patient. Without mindfulness, you will not be able to remain patient for long. Is that all?
That's all,ท่านอาจารย์
Okay. I think everybody has a chance to ask questions. Now we will allow everybody to have another round. If anybody has any question, please raise your hand and unmute your microphone.
Evie.
Evie?
Ajahn, I have already had. Usually I can do Asubha easily, but over time I face the horror in my nimitta. I have
I'm
a
sorry.
lot of nimitta.
I'm sorry. The background noise is so loud. I cannot hear what you say.
Can you hear me? No?
Can you turn off the background noise? Okay. No, okay.
Yes. Can you hear me, Ajahn?
Okay, you have to speak louder though.
Okay. In the beginning, I can do Asubha easily, for over time, I face the horror in my nimitta. I have a lot of nimitta. What appears in my nimitta is also scary, more sinister and more sinister. So now I stopped trying, but I want to try Asubha again, but it becomes difficult. And I have a fear of nimitta that will arise more sinister in my Asubha again. But what I do now is only scanning and anapanasati. When I scanning until I tired, I go to anapanasati. But sometimes I get sleepy and go back to scanning again. Sometimes I confuse what about to do first. Sometimes if I have enough energy, I will scanning strongly until knowledge appears and effect in my life and understanding everything. I have a lot nimitta.
Just ignore them. Just concentrate on your meditation object. If you use breathing, just focus on your breathing. If you use a mantra, just keep focusing on your mantra and ignore the nimittas. Okay. You cannot stop them. You know, if they come up, they come up. But you don't have to give them any attention. Just leave them alone.
Even I was once to be a corpse. That's my nimitta is so scary. So I put betul until sometimes I can had a headache. Brutal until headache. How to tackle it?
Just use wisdom and treat the headache as impermanent. They come and go. If you cannot prevent them from coming, then let them come, and then they will eventually go away by themselves. Don't pay any attention, don't bother. Because if you try to control or try to fix them, you can become stressful. Don't leave everything alone. Nimitta or your headache or anything, just accept them as being anicca, being anatta. Then there will be no dukkha.
So what should I do first? Can I come back to Asubha again, Ajahn?
Well, if you can do Asubha, do Asubha. If you cannot, then do something else. You can do chanting.
I everyday chanting. I chanting every day. I meditate every day 4 hours. I walking for 1 hour. Then episode until 108 times. Episode 108.
Okay, just keep doing that.
And chanting for 1 hour too. Then this all is take 4 hours.
That's good. Just keep doing it. And then after that, you should sit down and close your eye and watch your breathing, watch your breath.
Watch breath.
Yeah.
And do scanning. Sometimes I can want to do Asubha like before I can cut my head, cut my hand, cut my leg, cut my stomach inside, and put in the front of me and asking myself, what part is you? And finally I burn all.
See, the goal is to be able to let go of your body. Let the body be, if it's to be cut up, let it be cut up. It's not you, you're the mind, you're the one who...
I do that. But now it's hard to do, Ajahn, because that I have a strange condition. If I sleep until I usually wake up meditate at 4 a.m. and if I forget to wake up, always somebody wake me up.
Okay.
They hit the door, bang.
Okay.
I will get out. Or hit my bed. Boom.
Okay.
Meditate. I wake up.
It's your internal alarm clock, your mind wake you up when it's time.
Sometimes they I don't know. It's my mind or
doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what you know. Just know what had happened. That's all.
Yeah, they hit my door. They hit my bed. I don't.
Okay, so you have this thing. Just know it that you have this thing.
And the most.
Don't be bothered by them. That's all. Just know that this is what's happening.
The most strange is my phone has broken. Cannot ringing again. It can ring in the morning. Wake me up.
Okay, let it ring. Let it ring. Doesn't matter. It's no big deal.
So I cannot.
Don't make any big deal of anything because everything just like that.
Yeah.
They're not big deal. They come and go. Just know them for what they are. That's all. And leave them alone.
I was very scared before of this condition, but now I start to.
There's nothing to be scared about. They come and go. They cannot hurt you. You can only hurt yourself by being
they have
scared.
not killing me. So I get used to it.
Yeah.
They wake me up, I just wake up. Okay, I go.
Okay. That's right. Okay.
And the first what I do is anapanasati, Ajahn.
Okay, good.
Then scanning.
Okay. Just keep doing it to calm your mind, to make your mind strong and not reacting to anything. That's the purpose of meditation. To keep your mind still, to not reacting to anything. Okay? All right, I think we have run out of time. It's almost 3 hours tonight. 2 hours and 46 minutes now into the meeting.
อาจารย์ค่ะ
Okay.
Facebook.
Facebook? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. One more question for Po Liang Soon. What's Ajahn idea about Bujanga chanting? It is mainly for sick people?
No. Any kind of chanting is for mindfulness, to develop mindfulness. That's all. All right. Anybody else would like to ask any question? Please go ahead. If not, I will call this meeting to an end. Nobody? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your participation. I hope this meeting is of some benefit to you and help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please be safe, be healthy, be mindful, and keep on practicing. Until next week, I'll say goodbye to you now. Goodbye.
Sadhu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, admin. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Amin. Thank
you, Amin.
Thank you,
Bye
Amin.
bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Yeah, you, Kun La.